We don't have any statistics. Let's check our unofficial stats. All in favor of the Giants. Here we are. Look at the first downs. Yards rushing. Oilers haven't had one passing yard today. There's your total yards.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment below or maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, I saw, I'm in a lot of there's a lot of Giant Facebook groups out there, and I'm in quite a few of them, and it's pretty cool because you see people just finding random stats and stuff like that, and they post them or something like some other guys from other networks post about maybe something that happened with the Giants or this, they post them, and and I wind up seeing them on my news feed, Facebook, and all that and everything. I think it's some pretty cool stuff. One thing, just not to get sidetracked too fast, but one is it's hilarious. Like when the Giants are playing, you don't even have to watch the games. I mean, you can just just in your news feed, you just see these things, these posts pop up. Like, what the fuck is Glennon doing? Why did he throw that pass? Saquon sucks. Where's our defense? I mean, it's hilarious. You don't maybe know exactly what the score is or whatever, but you just read the comments that come through the Facebook groups and all that, and you kind of know if the Giants are winning or losing. And of course, most of the time they're losing. It's really hysterical. But one of the things I saw was comparing like Daniel Jones's first 37 starts in the NFL to Eli's first 37 NFL starts. Now, I'm not I'm not taking sides for Eli. I'm not taking sides for Daniel. I'm just throwing out a bunch of information here, and obviously things aren't always, as they seem, it just obviously once again is going to give the Giants a lot to think about and ponder. Maybe their new GM to think about, as the off season approaches, and whether to give, to pick up the 5th-year option of Daniel Jones, which is in next May. A lot of the stats. I mean, Daniel Jones had, in quite a few of the stats, he has the upper hand. Now, some of them, obviously he doesn't, but like the record. Which is one thing Eli has. The first 37 games, 37 starts, Eli was 19-18. Daniel Jones is 12-25. But also, Eli started off at 19-18. He started off 0-6 before he won his first game, which was the last game of the 04 season against the Cowboys. So after those first 6 games, he was actually 19-12. So, I mean, that was, pretty impressive. However, the completion percentage, Eli's completion percentage was 58.4. Daniel Jones was 62.8. So Daniel Jones' completion percentage is 4.5 points higher than was Eli. Passing yards, once again, Daniel Jones has 83.98. He has almost 8,400 passing yards. Eli Manning has 78.74. So he has about around 79. So, I mean, Daniel Jones has about 500 more passing yards than does Eli. Well, the Giants had some good running backs, and they had a good running game, though, too, when Eli was in there. So they did rely, a decent amount on the running game. A lot of times, they were good back then. They had the lead, so maybe it wasn't as important to pass the ball. Because when you're down 37-7, although the Giants did do that, they did start. Let's get the running game going. We're down 30 points to the Chargers. Let's start running the ball. But I mean, for the most part, when you're losing 38-11 to the Rams, you're not trying to start. Let's establish the run. No, you're passing them. So That's a little misleading too. But I mean, Daniel Jones is about 500 more yards passing than Eli does in his first 37 starts. Touchdown passes. Eli Manning has this. He is 52. Daniel Jones only has 45. But so once again, Eli was on a much better team, or teams back then, than Daniel Jones is. But interceptions. All right, now you think Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. Well, Eli had 42 interceptions. Daniel Jones only has 29. Passer rating. Eli was 79.2. Daniel Jones 84.3. So relatively, But there's just another stat which was not on this thing that I saw from Facebook. Rushing yards. Okay. Eli, in his first 30 starts, had 136 yards rushing. He He ran for about 4 yards a game, and he had one rushing touchdown. Daniel Jones, actually, in his first 37 starts, he had, I made it 1,000, but he had 995 yards rushing in his first 37 starts. He did have a cup of coffee in his first year. Remember, they threw him in for one series against the Cowboys. We were of course, shocker. We were losing. It was at the end of the game, and they put him in for, I think it was just one drive. He was 3 for 4, 17 passing yards. I guess he ran one time for 5 yards. So technically, in his first 37 starts, Daniel Jones had 995 yards rushing. But if you look at his stats, right, he has 1,000 yards. Well, 5 of them were from the game that he came in to, mop up time, at the end of the game against the Cowboys. But, regardless, he has about 1,000 yards rushing. Eli only had 136. Now, this is a little misleading here. Eli Manning, first 37 starts, 21 fumbles. Okay, Daniel Jones, 36. And you're like, whoa, Daniel Jones blows. Well, no, okay. Yes, he has more fumbles, almost, 50% more, But Eli Manning, during those games, was only sacked 63 times. Daniel Jones has been sacked 105 times. Eli, this one works out perfectly here, fumbled 21 times, sacked 63. Every 3 sacks, he fumbled 1 time. So every 3 sacks, he fumbled once. Daniel Jones fumbled 36 times and 105 sacks. So basically, he fumbled once every 2.9 sacks. Right? Very comparable. So you look, Eli only fumbled 21 times, Daniel Jones fumbled 36. Daniel Jones is way worse. Well, no, not really. If Eli got sacked as many times as 42 more times at this rate, he would have fumbled another 14 or 15 times, and he'd have about the same amount of fumbles as Daniel Jones would. Something else is big: missed games. Obviously, Eli didn't miss any games. Daniel Jones, with being out the rest of this season, will have missed 10 games, basically, in his first 3 seasons. Not impressive. One thing is that whoever the offensive coordinator is, if Daniel Jones can even play ever again, who knows? With the neck, you don't know. But one thing that they should do is, like, every time Daniel Jones has been hurt is because he's been running the ball every time. Try to avoid that. I mean, that's why one thing, Eli would get hit, sure, but he'd be in there, he'd get sacked. Now, of course, you can get hurt getting sacked, absolutely. But, I mean, Daniel Jones, every time he's got hurt, it's not been from being sacked. It's from running the ball. So maybe if they start taking some of those run plays, maybe, or if they just get down sooner or get out of bounds or whatever, maybe he won't get hurt as much. But, so that's something important. As basically you're only as good as, if you're on the sideline, you're not doing as much good. Now, there's another thing to keep in mind here, is that the first 37 starts that Eli Manning had, he was with a to me, a future Hall of Fame coach, Tom Coughlin. Remember, Tom Coughlin has 3 rings. He was a wide receiver coach for the Giants in 1990 when we won the Super Bowl. Then he's got 2 Super Bowls, 2007 and 2011. He took the Jacksonville Jaguars to 2 AFC Championship games. He took the Jacksonville Jaguars to an AFC Championship game in the 2nd year of their existence for an expansion team. So to me, he's a future Hall of Fame head coach. Joe Judge, he hasn't even had a winning season yet, so right, I'll just leave it at that. Eli Manning has also had the same offensive coordinator the first 3 years, John Hufnagel. 2007, Hufnagel was not there anymore, right? But 2004, 2005, 2006, he had John Hufnagel. So he had the same coach, same offensive coordinator. Daniel Jones is not. Daniel Jones came in under Pat Shurmur, head coach. Pat Shurmur was calling the plays. 2nd year, Joe Judge is there. And then you got Jason Garrett's playbook. And, so he has to learn something new. So then halfway through this season, Jason Garrett's guard. Now you got Freddie Kitchen. Same plays for the most part, but somebody else is calling plays. So, I mean, that's a little, so just a little something on Daniel Jones' side there. Now, one thing is that some of this stuff is just simply amazing. Now, the first 3 years, I'm not even including Eli Manning's rookie season. He played in 7 games, he started in 7. His first 6 games he lost. The last game of the season against the Cowboys he won was on January 2nd, 2005 at the Meadowlands. They beat the Cowboys. But first year, Daniel Jones quarterback, pretty much when he had 12 starts in 2019, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Eli Manning, his 7 games that he played in 2004, 6 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. In his 7 starts, he averaged 115 yards a game passing the ball. 115 yards a game passing the ball. Daniel Jones did a heck of a lot better than that. All right. Eli Manning was also on a very good team. Daniel Jones, not so much. 2005. We'll start with 2005 with Eli. So we'll take away his rookie season. But 2005, 6, 7, 8. Those 4 years after 2004. The next 4 years, the Giants made the playoffs every year. Now in 2005, Eli's basically his 2nd season. The Giants were 11-5. They had Tiki Barber, who played every game. Brandon Jacobs, Tiki Barber was the starter for 16 games. Brandon Jacobs, he played in every game. Derek Ward was another good. He played in 14 out of the 16 games. Then you have Plaxico Burress, right? He played in all 16 games. Jeremy Shockey, he played in 15 out of the 16 games. Amani Toomer played in all 16 games. All the starters played almost every game. Offensive line, Luke Pettigrew played in 15 out of 16 games. David Deal and Sean O'Hara and Chris Snee played all 16 games. Kareem McKenzie missed 2 games. His offensive lineman missed 3 games the whole season. Basically, in 2005, his whole offense played almost every game. Every game. You can't say so much about that with the Giants. Now, 2019, Daniel Jones' first season, they went 4-12. Saquon played in only 13 games. He missed 3. Shocker here, Sterling Shepard missed 6 games. Evan Ingram missed 8 games. Golden Tate missed 5 games. Benny Fowler only played in 8. He wound up playing 8 games. Darius Slayton played in 14. He still missed 2. Caden Smith played 9 games. Cody Lattimore, he played in 15 games, but it's like, you really want Cody Lattimore on the field for you? We had Rhett Ellison played in 10 games. Scott Simonson, he was a tight end. He played in 1 game for us. We're not really talking about a plethora of phenomenal talent. Now, the offensive line was relatively healthy that year. All right, we only missed 4 starts, so that was a plus. But I mean, a lot of his stars, if you want to call, were missed a lot of time. I mean, Shepard was there, but he missed 6 games. Evan Ingram missed half the season. Then the other big one you had there was Golden Tate, and he missed 5 games. You didn't really have a number 1 wide receiver. Then 2000, basically Eli Manning's second full season was 2006, and we'll compare 2006 to the 2020 season for Daniel Jones. 2006 for the Giants, Tiki Barber played in all 16 games. Brandon Jacobs played in 15 out of 16 games. Jeremy Shockey played in 15 out of 16 games. Plaxico Burress played in 15 out of 16 games. The only one, a little chink in the armor, was Amani Tuma. He only played in 8 games. Tim Carter played the other 8 games. So basically, he had 1 wide receiver miss some time. On the offensive line, David Deal and Chris Snee played all 16 games. Sean O'Hara and Kareem McKenzie played in 15 games. Luke Pettigrew missed 7 games. All right, but he did play in 9. Bob Whitfield played the other 7 for him. But for the most part, the whole offense, you had like 2 guys. Amani Tuma missed like half the season, and Luke Pettigrew missed 7 games. Other than that, the whole offense was healthy. 2020 season, all right, Saquon played at 2 starts. Then, of course, he got hurt. Gettleman played in 10 starts. Devontae Freeman had 4 starts. Sterling Shepard only played 12 starts. Evan Ingram had 14 starts. Caden Smith had 12 starts. Golden Tate only had 4 starts. Darius Slayton had 15 starts. The offensive line was relatively healthy, all right? But the offensive line in 2020 for the New York Giants gave up 50 sacks. The offensive line for the Giants in 2006 for Eli, basically his second full season, only gave up 25 sacks. If you go back to the year before that, in 2019, Daniel Jones' first season, the offensive gave up 43 sacks. All right. So the offensive line for Eli was healthy. The offensive line for Eli didn't give up any sacks. Daniel Jones was getting sacked quite a bit. Then we go to 2007, the Super Bowl season for Eli, his 3rd full season. We'll compare that with this past season here, okay? Now you have, after 2007, Tiki Barber retired. Shame he should have stayed around. He would have got himself a ring. But I'll tell you what, we had a 3-headed monster. Running backs for Eli Manning, Brandon Jacobs, Ahmad Bradshaw, the rookie, right? And we had Derek Ward. 3 really good running backs there. Jeremy Shockey played in 14 games. The 14th game, he broke his leg against the Redskins, and then Kevin Boss came in and played the final 2 games, right? But then you had Plaxico Burress played in all 16 games. Amani Tuma played in all 16 games. The whole offensive line played every freaking game. You had Deal, you had Seibert, you had O'Hara, you had Snee, you had McKenzie. All 5 of the guys played every game, 16 out of 16. They gave up 28 sacks the whole season. We want to win the Super Bowl. So basically, the whole team was pretty much healthy for the Super Bowl season. I said Jeremy Shockey played first 14, broke his leg in the 14th game, missed the last 2 games, and the playoffs and all, but the whole offense was healthy. Hardly anybody missed any time at all in the 2007 season. Unlike this season, so we got this Eli Manning's 3rd full season. Daniel Jones is kind of 3rd full season, all right? Saquon Barkley's missed 4 games. Kadarius Toney's, it's just so far this season. We still got 3 games to go. Kadarius Toney's missed 5 games. Evan Ingram's missed 2. Sterling Shepard is out, so he's missed 10 games. Slayton's missed 3. John Ross has missed 4. Kenny Golladay's missed 3 games. Caden Smith's missed 4 games. So he missed a lot of games. Got a lot of guys, missed a lot of time for Daniel Jones, and of course Daniel Jones has missed time too. Now, the offensive line for the Giants. All right, you go from 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2008. You got 4 years there. All right. In those 4 years, his offensive lineman, 2005, 6, 7, 8. His offensive line missed a grand total of 12 games. 12 games, 4 years. And the majority of that was the one season in 2006 when Luke Pettigrew missed 7 games. But 2007, nobody on his offensive line missed a game. 2008, nobody on his offensive line missed a game. 2008, we were 11-1. We were the best team in the NFL until Plexico Burress shot himself in the leg. But I'm just saying is that we were 11-1. Yeah, but I'm saying, but the offensive line for Eli, when Eli was in there, the first 4 seasons, they missed no time. You realize that between Andrew Thomas, Nick Gates, and Shane Lemieux, they missed 30. And this is just up to this point in time. I don't know if Andrew Thomas might miss another game or so or something because he's on the injury list. But they've missed 35 games between those 3 guys just this season. And it's not over with yet. 35 games. Shane Lemieux basically has missed 16 3/4 games. Nick Gates has basically missed about 15.5 games because he played only about a game and a half for the Washington football team game. And Andrew Thomas has missed 4 games so far, and he might miss another one. Who knows? But we've missed just those 3 guys have missed 35 games this season. Those 4 seasons for Eli Manning, the offensive line missed 12 games, all 4 of them combined. So it's not always as easy, it's not always black and white. I mean, whoever the new coach is, if it's Judge or somebody new, whoever the new GM is, is gonna have a little bit to think about on their plate. I mean, I would not sign Daniel Jones to his 5th year option. I would put it if he can play, if he's healthy enough to play, go out there and let's see what you can do. If you go out and ball, well, I'll tell you what, we'll sign you to a nice long contract. If it looks like he's the real deal and he does phenomenal next year, let's sign him. Instead of being strapped, it's having him sign if he does bad next year, if he gets hurt again or whatever, to have him dishing out $21 million for the following year. Look like this too. If he plays bad next year, I mean, who's going to sign him for like $35 million a year? Nobody. I mean, the Giants could try to maybe sign him, but you're not going to sign him for no big time contract. So I wouldn't sign him for the 5th year. Let him play next year if he can, and see what he does. If he balls out, then maybe you sign him to a nice long-term contract. Because in 2023, you're going to start having some money for some salary cap. If not, you maybe look for other options. Maybe try to draft somebody, or maybe try to trade to get somebody. Maybe like somebody else out there. But it's kind of interesting is that we put Eli Manning on a pedestal. Obviously because he won us 2 Super Bowls and all that stuff and everything. But when you start looking sometimes at the numbers, Daniel Jones has got some better numbers in some categories. Obviously, the biggest one is winning games and winning Super Bowls. But it's not always as black and white as it seems to be. When you start digging down a little bit deeper, if Daniel Jones had the offensive line that Eli Manning had, the cohesion, right? Everybody's healthy. Everybody knows what they're doing. The same guys on the field doing what they do. I mean, Jeremy Shockey, Plaxico Burress, Amani Toomer, Tiki Barber, Brandon. I mean, he had some good talent on there. And as I said, the offensive line was always there. Daniel Jones can't say that. Daniel Jones don't even know who the starting running back's going to be. He has no idea who the starting tight end's going to be, who the starting wide receivers are going to be with COVID and all of that. And he has no idea who's on his offensive line. That really makes things difficult. So it's, as I said, it's, I'm not pulling for Daniel Jones or Eli Manning. I'm just throwing some numbers out there. I'm just trying to say that things aren't always as black and white as they seem to be. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!